Hi, Leo. Happy New Year. I really hope you had an amazing end of 2019. And yeah, Happy New Year and Happy New Decade. That sounds like a biggie, eh? A lot of changes. I'm here to do the reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs for January 2020. It's going to be a general reading for. So if it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it just doesn't. It's just not your reading. Yeah. How are you, Leo? I hope you're well. Okay. It's like two cards are coming up here. The Knight of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups as your current energy. I find it a bit funny how this intro showed up. I mean, like, I find it like I really suck at small talk. I wanted to talk a bit about planetary shifts, but let's just get into the reading since it started. Let's see what's your challenge. Seven of Wands as your challenge. Let's see what's your focus. Five of Cups. Let's see what's your advice. Nine of Swords. And where is this taking you, Leo? Seven of Pentacles. Right. I'll have the Four of Swords as your theme, the underlying energy. It's good. We want some peace of mind. We all do. But that signifies also that you may want to take a break. But yeah, let's go. Okay, yeah. Let's go deeper a little bit. I'm always hesitant with these decks because they can be I find them a bit fatalistic at times with the titles some of the cards have. All right, so we have the Son of Stones, Prince of Stones, actually, as your current energy with the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, that's basically the same card. And the Seven of Cups as your current energy. Something turned here. We have the Princess of Swords with the Seven of Wands as your challenge. You have Two of Stones with the Five of Cups as your focus. We have the Three of Swords with the Nine of Swords as your advice. And we have the Three of Cups with the Eight of Pentacles as your future energy. And the Three of Stones as the theme of your reading with the Four of Swords. And the Three of Stones in this deck is called Work. And in the Way Tarot, it shows three people working together to build something bigger. And all threes actually, and I've seen, wait, one more. We have three threes in your reading. I think that's about, all threes talk about resolution. It's about growth. It's about two things coming together to get something bigger. Three is a great number, right? And I think that type of resolution happens right now. Things that start working for you in this sense. you know, after you had the thesis and then you have the antithesis, so you, the birth of duality, the three is like that deep understanding that is able to put one to one together. Okay, I'll stop there with that. The Four of Swords, yes, signifies that you may need to take a break, and you're learning to take that rest, that mental rest especially, in order for you to focus also what's working and how it's working, and to take a breather really. So maybe you may be called within now to take a little bit of a more like reflection, to in a more of reflection state, meditative state, more alone time, things like that. Um, because there is a lot going on here. These are some pretty heavy themes that show up for you, and you need this, and you need to learn into your life journey when to take these breaks, when to go within, when to go out of these breaks as well, because we can get stuck in that mode too. Funny how we can get stuck in pretty much everything, can't we? The moment we're like not alert, the moment we're feeling a bit comfort, but whatever, it becomes detrimental. With this Three of Stones, though, it may be constant, it may be really connected also with your workplace, whatever it is that you're working or want to be working on, or personal projects. And this may signify also to take a break to reflect on that as well. It may be that your work situation isn't the best or is better than you realize, or maybe you want some changes there. But with three, I think it's like again, having it coming together and for you to understand how it works for you. Okay, feels a bit vague to me, but let's get deeper. The Knight of Pentacles with the Seven of Cups. The Knights talk about expansion, and that of Pentacles is the expansion of the earthly realm somehow, whether that means your career, whether that means your you know, it's not just about the energy work and about the coming into that place of inner peace and that's it. It's something that you will feel the effects on in your daily reality, in the 3D reality, on the in the way you show up and the way things you, I don't know, your outer landscape. And the Seven of Cups talks about the physical aspect of your emotions. So that also kind of means how, well, it can literally mean how you hold your emotions in your body, and how that's affecting you, how that's affecting your health, and how that's affecting your physical well-being. But it can also mean how your emotions are influencing your 3D reality, the people you attract in your life, the situations that you're attracting, the how it is affecting your workplace maybe, or how it's affecting your yeah, how it's just affecting your reality. And the Seven of Cups does talk about taking stock of those that emotional baggage that we carry, and to kind of feel through it in order to release it. And out of this, the whole night, the Knight of Pentacles is like the slowest one. So you do have time. I know that, well, when we talk about emotions, especially about heavier emotions, we just want to get it done with it as soon as possible, and quick fixes, and especially if we can't feel them, the better. But if we do have to feel them like one time, and it's all gone, it's fixed, right? It's not really working like that. It takes time. This Prince of Stone, the Chief Seattle, in this deck, he talks about like he talks for his people. He's the Chief Seattle was this one guy who was able to unite the tribes, and he was able to unite the tribes to stand up for themselves and to speak with one voice. And that's a big deal. I want to read this though. Chief Seattle was one of the last leaders of a nation of Native Americans on the northwest coast of North America. His hair blends into the rock. The eagle feather, a symbol of the plains people, indicates that he spoke for all natives. The lightning bolt from the whale above shows the bond between human and animal. Divinatory meanings: taking action to make positive change with the benefit of the next 7 generations in mind. My goodness. 7 generations in mind. Well, it is important to think about how your actions are affecting other people. And if you do have children or want children, how your actions might affect that as well. Actions that can be dictated sometimes by our emotional baggage. So it kind of makes sense to learn to cope with that and learn to release what's been redundant and what's been staying forever. And you know what? It's very interesting because in order to let go of our emotional baggage, we need to release it. But it's that means we need to feel it. That's the way of releasing. But that's a very complicated process. It's less straightforward than you think. Oh, I just feel it and that's it, I let it go. No, it needs to be in a structured way. It needs to be done a very grounded way. And I like that it comes with these 2 Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands here, that you need to take this slowly, you need to take your time with it, you need to put in the work and, slow and steady progress there. Because if we just like go in there and feel, we can get addicted to that. We get addicted to our feelings, we get addicted to our negative bias, we get addicted to certain thought patterns that create a certain feelings within ourselves. And we also can get re-traumatized as we feel again and again the same shit. Sorry, I don't want to downgrade in any way what you feel. I mean, like, what you feel is you need to honor that still, but it is also very important to step back and see, just getting a hit out of those emotions, because that's what I'm used to. It's my negativity bias or something. It's the only way I can make sense of my universe. Or am I actually releasing here? Releasing the emotions means feeling them without getting attached to them, without saying that, identifying with them, without making a story about them. To stop analyze them so much. We always want to feel, but then we don't want to feel, and it's sort of paradoxes how that works, really. It really is. Look into it. Look at how working with emotions, and trauma, right? Emotional baggage works. It's always good to come back to the body, to do it in a structured way, to do maybe sessions, whether they're therapy sessions, or if you have any knowledge of that and you are able to do it on your own. Again, with dedicated time for this, like, okay, now I'm grounded, now I can go within and take some time and just feel and let go, not attaching, no judging, no not over analyzing, no nothing. I think I said this to Cancer earlier, but it did come up for you as well. Using the rain technique from Tara Brach might be very, very useful tool right now for that, because that can help you, like, the rain is an acronym for recognizing your emotions or your whatever it is that you're going through right now, the thought pattern that generates the emotions, and then um bringing it into awareness. But it's like that loving awareness, and then it's investigating. And that investigating part, we can get trapped in there by over analyzing, so don't go too much into that. Just understanding like what's a little bit like underlying, what's at the root. When I feel like shit for a certain reason, it's usually not really that, like, I don't know. Maybe I should feel bad because of behavior that I want to get rid of or keeps showing up, and I'm angry with myself for that behavior. But I need to look at the root to see why is that behavior showing up, because that behavior does show up as a defense mechanism or escape from something, which is usually emotions that we can't cope with. And weirdly enough, we end up generating more of that. Um, I hope that makes sense. Wow. Yeah, and continuing with the rain. Yeah, the investigation, just looking at the root, and I think has to do with integration. So integrating that into your conscious awareness, and making your peace with that, and that's kind of allowing to let go. Not identifying with the emotions and with the thought patterns that generate those emotions, but really to learn to ground yourself in your body and understand that these emotions come and these emotions go, and not hold on to them or push them away. Seven of Wands with Princess of Swords as your challenge. So it may be challenging right now to hold your ground, to stand up for yourself, to keep your pattern of beliefs, in check. Sevens do you have two sevens, right? So the sevens, is it two only? Yeah. The sevens do talk about like taking stock. It's a time where we really look within, in whatever realm is necessary, in this case, the emotional and the beliefs. And maybe it's important to kind of like see what beliefs are still relevant to you, which ones are limiting beliefs, which ones are empowering, which ones are helping you, which ones are working against you. And some of the beliefs that we hold that are limiting had been put there for a reason, because maybe we tend to overexpand in certain areas. So we're like, okay, hold on a little bit. Let's take it slower. But at the same time, we need to understand that if we buy too much into them, then we can be debilitated by some of our gifts and talents. Like not be able to access them. That's what I mean. So yeah, going into really taking stock of your beliefs right now, and hold your ground for those that are still relevant to you. And with the Princess of Swords here, which is like the Page of Swords, you're going to mm, get some type of clarity over that, and a new idea is going to come through that will help you be more consistent with it. Okay, these beliefs are here, and these are working against me, and it's challenging for sure. It's a challenge position to start pinpointing these beliefs that are working against us, and to stop believing them. Is not something that just happens like this. It's an entire process, and that process kind of like takes us into a pretty intense place where we have to question a lot. When we question our beliefs, we literally question everything about ourselves, right? What are we operating from? Was that real? Did that make sense? Where did I even internalize that? What is it that I'm really believing? Is that what I'm believing, or is this what I'm just telling myself? But your mind has been helpful here. It's going to help you to to stay with this process, I think. But it's still the beginning. It's very the pages are just the beginning of the journey. There's maturing needing to happen here, but you're there, you're getting it. Five of Cups with the Two of Stones, which is called harmony in this deck. As your focus. You see, I related clearly with this Seven of Cups here, and we've taken time to take stock of your emotions, right? And it may be that either you're too stuck into a place of mourning, and you're just trapped in there, and you've been always kind of like seeing the negative side and seeing the loss, not looking at what you're really having, and not wanting to move forward from this place. Either you don't give yourself time for this at all. You don't allow yourself to feel your losses, and you don't allow yourself to feel what you should be mourning, because it's important to take our time for mourning. It's important to take our time for feeling also the things that we don't want to feel. And go through that, what I said, like a very structured way of releasing our emotions, and have that morning time. It's okay to cry, it's okay to feel really, really wretched every once in a while, and hold space for that, because if we push it away, it's just going to drive us, right? And with the Two of Stones here, I think your focus is to get in harmony with this, like finding that balance in between morning time, and really feeling the loss, and everything else, daily reality, to still be functional, to still keep your, I don't know, body functioning, eat, um, exercise if that's your thing, and move, leave the house, go to work if that's the case, that type of stuff. Because when we avoid this for a long time, when it hits us, we just like get trapped in there, and some of us can be almost dysfunctional. Depends how much we avoided it. It just takes over, and that's it. We feel like we can't leave the bed. It can translate into serious depressive episode if we are avoiding it, as I said, and if we have the predisposition for it, which is a long conversation as well, with the patterns and your patterns and so on. There's a very good book that I recommend, The Mindful Way Out of Depression and Chronic Unhappiness. I don't know if it's the case for you. I don't see it as necessarily something that you identify with as being chronically unhappy or constantly depressed. It's more that, yeah, there are episodes every once in a while. Maybe you go deep down into that well, and you find it like it's really hard to get out. But that's the thing. Like, if you learn coping mechanisms of how to really work with this, in order to not get trapped in there, but still honor those feelings, it might do you a world of good and bring a lot of harmony in your life. And yeah, the advice is the Nine of Swords with the Three of Swords, which is mourning. So yeah, the indication here is that you kind of need to stay with it. I don't think you've been trapped in it for too long. I think that you have been avoiding it. You've been avoiding feeling whatever it is that you're carrying there with you as an emotional baggage, and slows you down. It can slow you down a lot. So with this Nine of Swords and the Three of Swords, yes, as advice. So this is not something to run away from. It's something to look into is look at your fears, look at your anxiety. What is your anxiety around? What are your biggest fears here? What are you what are your thought patterns that run in cycles again and again and again and drive you into this avoidant type of behavior that you don't want to feel? What keeps you up at night? Allow these thoughts that you've been maybe shoving off into your subconscious mind to pop up. And I think it has to do with it's loss of some sort. You see, this is actually called mourning in this deck. For the other deck, I have a slightly different interpretation from the Three of Swords, but I'm gonna take it as mourning this time because I think it's deeply connected to this. So maybe you're afraid to let go of this mourning, or maybe you're afraid it's gonna take you over completely. Maybe you're afraid that if you take a step to feel, you're not gonna be able to get up or get out of there. But this is your advice, right? Look into this. Look at these thoughts and take stock of them as well. And see them as just thoughts. They're just thoughts. They are stories. They are stories that you've been told at a very young age and constantly, consciously or unconsciously, from society, from media, from all that, telling us these stories of how we should be afraid and how we're not okay and how we are damaged and how we need more of this and more of that to be more okay. And I don't know, if I look at the general Western attitude towards anxiety and fear, it's either like shove a lot of pills into yourself so you don't have anxiety anymore, or you're damaged. There you go. We put diagnosis on you. You have anxiety, and you're gonna have to deal with that your entire life. There's no escape, which just creates more anxiety. Um, Not to say that sometimes pills don't help, or having to knowing that you're suffering of some type of anxiety or you're more prone to anxiety is not helpful. It can be, but when we identify ourselves with this, then that's where the problem really lingers. We don't really make any progress. We get stuck into just the knowledge of that, or our interpretation of that knowledge. So with the Nine of Swords, it's very important to understand that these are stories. Everything that you've been telling yourself is a story, and you check out the stories that you tell yourself about mourning and about loss and about feeling and about what we perceive as negative emotions. And I think you have a lot of potential to set yourself free here from this intense fear and anxiety thoughts. They can come out to the light. See here, they're in this very black background, all these swords there, and keep this person awake at night. But if they're taken one by one from there, and you're like taking your time to examine it and let go. I mean, like, you don't even need to examine it. You just need to not believe it. Don't believe everything your mind tells you. Belief system. I think you're really getting at the root here of what is it that you believe and how to work with it. If you're taking up this challenge, right? If you're taking this challenge for yourself of yeah, I am going to look into it. I am going to feel right now. No, it's important to wrap this up because you want to move into this new energy with more lightness. And the Eight of Pentacles with the Three of Cups, which in this card it's overflowing. I mean, like, listen, you have all the reasons to go through this because the Eight of Pentacles talks about, like, okay, finally you're figuring out your way, what works for you. you're figuring out, like, you know, that steady routine that really gives you that balance that we're talking about, and that harmony between these two. And it will bring love and happiness and joy. I think most of everything, you know, like overflowing with joy, allowing the emotions to flow when we don't want to feel, or when we get stuck and get attached to certain feelings, we just want to hold on to them forever. Then they're not flowing. Think of it as water into, like, I don't know, some type of structure. If they get stuck in a way, then the water is not flowing, and it's going to get stale at some point on one side or another. So as we learn to work with emotions, as we learn to work with our thoughts, as we learn to work with our patterns and our behaviors, by going really at the root with the belief system and the thoughts that generate certain emotions, and understand that some emotions are just there for a long time, and I don't necessarily need to believe the story that we attach to them. You know, as I said, it's like a cycle. Sometimes we have emotions that we hold in our body for ages that we just didn't want to feel from I don't know how long ago. And whenever we get a little bit in touch with that and we start feeling, oh my God, what's going on? This is horrible. I feel so bad. Why am I feeling so bad? Am I going to get out of here? I don't want to feel like this. Oh my God, is there something wrong with me? What's wrong with me? So on, so on, so on. But you see, this Eight of Pentacles, it tells me that this process is taking you here in this place of knowledge, understanding, consistent hard work that comes joyful. You know, like you're enjoying this. This is not this guy is really taking his time. He's very much in the present moment. He's perfecting his craft. He loves doing this, and it allows your emotions to get unstuck and to feel. And we all feel both good and bad, and we're gonna have more resilience, you know, because things come and go, and it's okay. But you know, when we're overflowing like this, when the emotions are really flowing through us, and they don't get stuck, we are much more actualized, we're much more present, we're much more able to respond rather than react, we're much more able to honor ourselves, much more likely to honor ourselves, and to be functional, to respond to the situations as they are, not as they want them to be, or as that we don't want them to be. Okay, I'm gonna pull out a Rumi card. It's a little bit grim with this mourning here, and this Nine of Swords. That I know it doesn't feel great, but it's really a great opportunity. It is. It's a great opportunity to finally bring in that harmony and that what works for you. Learn how you work. You're getting to know yourself, and you're getting to know how to get yourself to what makes you tick. How to, you know, it's like learning the map to yourself here. How to navigate. And that's so great. It's wonderful, really. Okay. We have entered the Garden of Delights. Well, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what this is taking here. This is number 28. So that's a 10. Beautiful. I'm gonna read it for you. Hope you can see it. Are you aware that sweetness is found everywhere in town? Are you aware that winter is gone and spring has come around? Well, that's not really the case, but you know what I mean. Are you aware that sweet basil and the carnation are whispering in the garden and laughing about how simply everything is found? Are you aware the nightingale has come back from its flight singing out messages of love to spread delight with every sound? Everything in the garden is granted the right from the divine court to appear for our delight. Everything is here to make the earth green and alive as a haven for our life. What remains buried in the soul will always endeavor to reach out. No one truly alive can ever be pawned to a prison or a tomb. I just saw this looks almost like a tomb, even though this guy is just resting there. But this is definitely a prison of the mind, and this can feel like a prison of the emotions. So I like that it says this. Everything is here to make the earth green and alive and as a haven for our life. Everything in the garden is granted the right from the divine court to appear for our delight. So these emotions that can be feel, and these thoughts, they appear there for a reason as well. And it's not they're not made so that you shove them away, nothing will get you stuck there forever. Everything will, so no one truly alive can ever be bound to a prison or a tomb. Allow that life to take you on. But yeah, let's read. To come alive requires shedding off so much adherence to the fear of death. The great brother whispers, the great brother means Rumi, whispers wisdom into your heart. You have heard it, felt it already. The fear of death is so much more terrible than death itself. Nothing is dying in you but fear, so the heart can live more freely. Death and life are twin angels dancing together in communion with the sacred. They are not opposed. They bring the soul aliveness and make the garden of delights possible. They bring the seasons of the soul that foster growth and take the appearance of dying away, which is actually part of the cycle of life again and again and again. You have been through much death, dear one, around you, within you. You have known this dark angel. That's why you are so full of life. Your attempts to stay as you have been, to render something in your life immobile or in previous change, have failed. Let us celebrate. There is no delight in frozen moments long since past. Why try to feast upon such food? It will not nourish you anywhere near as deeply, as fully, as fresh from the oven morsels of life. Come, let us taste all that is on offer. We'll drink heavily and state our deepest thirst. Let us enjoy the richness of the meal in gratitude for its preparation and awe at the skill involved in such masterful creation. Do not let the memory of death starve you of your participation in life. Do you hold on still to that which is past? It will soothe you with a loving touch upon your back, and yet gently. I will turn your head to the right and urge you to see the rising sun. Your life is blessed, you see. I want you to know this now. I want you to accept this now. Let those horrors of the past be gone. There are no more than phantoms. The garden is here now to be touched, tasted, seen, heard, felt, inhaled, and loved. This oracle comes to you with a message. A new day is dawning for you. There is a time when the past will very soon cease to have any hold over you. Celebration is imminent. You are invited into the golden light of divine plenty. Put your worries behind you now and step into your divine inheritance, where all is sorted according to kindness and grace. Nice. It is indeed necessary to feel the mourning, but we need to also let go of this place. And I think that to some of you, this whole fear of death thing might play a much deeper role, whether it's like a loss of somebody in your life that you cared for, or whether it's that deeply rooted fear of death that we all have, all beings, of all everything that's alive, and especially aware of that life. And I think that this oracle says it all in terms of how to yeah, allow, not get stuck in there, and allow yourself to come out. I hope this makes sense to you, Leo. I wish you to have an amazing January and have a smooth process here. um this full moon eclipse is going to feel intense for all of us, so I can definitely get where why this is taking this intense turn. So yeah, don't worry, you are just aligned with with the universal consciousness and the planetary shift. So keep up the good work, Leo. Thank you for being here. If you resonated with this, please like, share, and subscribe. Do also check your other readings for moon and risings if this is your sun. It may help you get a bigger picture about your yeah, your very rich world. Many thanks for your hard work, and may our practice benefit all beings.